we go. I hear you.
Hey there.
Hi. I was not, for some reason, I was not connecting, so I had to take it out and go back in, but we've got it now. How are you doing?
Good. How are you today?
Doing all right. Doing all right. Did you do anything special for Tanner's birthday?
I have not seen Tanner yet today.
Wow.
Yep. He was
He's
still
just out there celebrating.
he was still asleep when I left for work this morning, and
Okay.
he worked after school today, so he's not home from work yet.
Okay.
So I'm sure he'll get home probably in the next hour, if I had to guess.
Okay.
And y'all can shout happy birthday to him.
Okay. Awesome. You had a good day today? I'm sharing everything, like putting it on Discord and everything, so don't mind me. But you had a good day?
Very good day.
Good.
Every day is a good day.
Every day is a good day.
You know that.
Okay.
When the day comes that you find me in a bad mood, you know something's really, really bad.
That's true. That's true.
Hey, Tasha.
Hi, Tasha. How are you doing today? Welcome in, everybody, to Disney Travel Talk with Mike. This guy's over here. I'm going to always do the wrong way. This guy is Mike.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not Mike.
Yeah.
I'm Janelle. He's Mike. So we do our best to talk about travel to Disney and Universal. Oh, Tasha, I agree. The whole time change. Usually Megan comes on at 7, and at like 6 something, I was like, oh my gosh, I miss Megan. I didn't even go be part of her live. And I had it. And I was like, I don't even know what to do at this like time, because it's dark and you can't be outside. And you just feel like it's time to go, to bed.
That's a big debate about whether or not they're going to abolish the time changes. Right. The problem is, which one do you stay with?
The good one, not this one.
I mean, this may surprise you, but politicians can't agree on anything, and you've got equal factions that think it should stay standard time and stay daylight savings time. Hey, Katie. There's supposedly there are scientific studies that for children in particular, as they're growing up and going through school, that standard time is better for them.
Okay. You know what? Standard, non-standard, we just need to stick with it. Yes. See, hi, Ainsley. They don't have outside jobs. They do not, Ainsley. The politicians do not.
Children that play outdoor sports.
Right.
That's a big deal too.
Right. Yeah. The time change is not for any. I've never met anybody, Katie, that is like, woohoo for the time change. Like, never ever have I met anybody. So it's been a rough. I wouldn't say rough. Rough is exaggerating, but it's been. I mean, there are rougher things going on. But it has been a challenge to adjust. How about that?
I was going to say, we saw you slaving away at Magic Kingdom dealing with this tough time zone change, or time change.
Thank you, Jessica. Hello. Welcome in, everyone. Thank you for tapping the screen. Thank you for, being here and hanging out with Mike and I. So we do have some really good topics for tonight. I believe they're good, my opinion.
Now that you know what they are.
Now that I know what they are. I mean, one of us, and I have never ever, just like will say, I'm not a Star Wars fan, and you guys know that. Like, I don't ever try to hide anything. And the other thing I will not ever hide is that Mike does all the work for this, so you do, Mike. So, hey, unicorns, you know what, Jessica, we appreciate whatever time you will give us. So, being in and out, I hope Ruby feels better, and whatever you need.
I'm no doctor, but I think if Ruby were to watch us, she would feel much better.
Probably. I think Ruby laughs every time she watches us too.
That's because she sees me and I'm funny looking.
So, yeah.
So I do all the work because I'm not as smart as you are. That's why.
Oh, is that it? Exactly. So, okay.
Like you're the kid that can wake up and take the test and ace it, and I have to study for it.
Yeah. So, Tasha, my favorite part of this was I was like, ooh, kids are going to bed. Like, they're going to bed, and that was like the best part of the time change was like, they will go to bed early. So, eating, sleeping, all of that, anything that's earlier, I'll take it.
Still takes some adjustment though. I mean, especially with little ones, if they're used to eating at a certain time, the clock is irrelevant to them.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it is, and it's really whatever you tell them, so I know the morning is the rough part. Absolutely. So, yeah. So who do we have questions or concerns from? I know Tanner, It's Go Kai was one. Robbie is one. Yep. I'll share with Robbie.
Yep. I'll be honest, that's the one thing I didn't do is scribble down who asked what, but it was those two guys.
I know Tanner was the DVC because he asked at the very end. And I was so tired last week. I was so tired, and I went to bed and I was like, oh no, I hope I didn't come off as rude. I was like, nope, we're not answering this. We're out of here. And catch us next time. And that's all I could think of. And then I went to sleep and never thought about it again. So, yeah.
No, but it was easy to see that you were pretty worn out.
Yeah. Hey, Jules. Hey, Jules. I was just like, oh, that being hungry or being tired will get to you every time.
Yeah.
So
I just consistently am hungry, so I'm used to it.
Okay. Yeah, you're just your same level. Right. Hey, Kayla.
Kayla,
I just saw you just put some good news in the Discord, didn't you? Let me look.
Yep,
we'll share. I think it was about flights. Let me see. My local airport has never had a direct flight to MCO, but they announced today that come February, that is changing. Oh, you're going to get to go Breeze. I cannot wait to hear what you think about Breeze. I'm curious. They will start offering direct service to MCO on Monday and Friday. That's perfect, Kayla.
I hope it works. I hope it works out for you. And I say it that way because, so I live in Omaha, and Lincoln is about a 45-minute drive from here, the state capital, and their airport's much smaller. But they had direct flights that they announced, and I think within a month of them, they stopped doing them. And that airline owes the airport like millions of dollars, and they've kind of like disappeared. So it was kind of, yeah. We have, on occasion, there will be direct flights on Southwest from Omaha. They're very rare. Sometimes I'll drive to Kansas City and fly down. It's cheaper to do it that way.
Have fun at Disneyland tonight.
Enjoy, Alex.
Nashville to nonstop. Yeah, so most of the time that you do have to do that, go to a bigger airport or even a smaller airport.
So
sometimes.
usually you and I answer everybody's questions, but I'm going to ask everybody a question to start. How about that?
Okay. Okay, let's go. Hi,
And
Ashley.
and
Ashley.
I'll have to think about the answer for myself, but we're talking about airports and flying, what have you.
Okay.
My opinion is that everybody has some radius of they would drive to Disney if it's 8 hours or less or 10 hours or less, whatever. So that's the question. What is your number that if you lived within X number of hours driving time, you would choose to drive to Disney?
Tumble Monkey, 42, the answer to everything. Okay.
42-hour drive. You are leaving from North Pole. Driving
Jules
through
is 3 hours. Hi, B.
Hi, B. So again, for those just joining, the question to everybody is, how long of a drive would you be willing to do to Disney as opposed to flying? 15 minutes. Robbie's having trouble logging in. Okay. 9 hours, says Christina. Kayla's.
So Tumble Monkey just moved closer. That's why Tumble Monkey's saying that.
So Kayla says, you're 13 hours. I drive if I'm staying 6 nights or more. I get that if it's a short trip. You don't, I mean, because you're spending a whole day driving each way.
Right.
3 hours. Good Lord.
Yeah. Becca is 18 hours, but would you drive it? That's the question, right? Would you drive the 18 hours?
Yeah. Yeah. Not how far of drive do you have, but how far of a drive would you be willing to do instead of flying?
Right.
I think for me, I would say probably 8 hours is probably that number that I would manage.
Okay. I have driven from Maryland to Disney World, so I know I've done it, and we drive quite frequently back and forth, but I would say to Disney, I would say 6.
How long is that drive from Maryland?
12 to 15 hours, depending on traffic and how many stops you have.
Yeah, because you have to stop at, is it Buc-ee's? Is that where you have to stop?
There was no Buc-ee's at that time, but yes, Buc-ee's is a must.
Tumble Monkey, you would walk from Omaha if you had to. Depends upon what time of year it is. In January, I would not walk from Omaha.
So again, I'll go back to Ashley. Again, we didn't fly with the kids. It's driving with the kids, and eventually we got to flying with them. But the first trips were driving with everybody in the car, and we were also going to Universal and SeaWorld, and just really felt like we needed, a car. Robbie, is everything good? TikTok's playing games. It wouldn't connect for me either, Robbie. So I don't know. It could be a TikTok issue.
What's the longest car ride you've ever had?
Me?
Yeah.
That's it. I've never gone. I've not ever gone anywhere. You know what? That's not true. From Maryland to New Orleans would be the longest. And I would say that would be if we drove straight through, maybe in between 16 and 18 hours. And so it's a 2-night, but that would be the longest.
Oh, so you did spend the night?
Yeah, we stopped. I forget where we stopped, but that would be, I would say it was somewhere north of Georgia, because I can remember getting up, or somewhere in Georgia is where we stayed.
But 12 is probably the longest you've done in one day without spending. Okay.
Yeah.
We did. My dad and I and my 2 older boys went Omaha to San Antonio nonstop driving, and I think that was around 16 hours. Hey, Jill.
Okay. I mean, and I think it depends on do you have help driving? I think that's huge too. Usually when I drive with my mom, I'm the only driver. Chase is the only driver. We don't let my mom drive. So Joe never gonna drive again. Let's see, Unicourse drove to Kansas to Florida.
So I think of it in terms of annual pass, right? And I mean, from where I live, it's not practical to make the drive because it's like I think 20 hours, something like that, from here to there, driving straight through. So it'd take you 2 to 3 days round trip driving. And so then the question again, it becomes non-affordable to have an annual pass if I got to pay to fly every time I go down there. So that's why I always think to myself, how far away would I be willing to live and make the drive where the annual pass is worth the investment?
That's a very good question. And you know what? I'm like, oh, if I lived in Tampa, I would, again, we see people from Tampa, come frequently, but I think that even that drive would like wear off after a little while, because or like even Miami, or that area, like a 3-hour drive. I mean, that's 3 hours you got to drive home. So, you'd have to leave at like 5 if you wanted to be home by 8 or something.
Yeah. The company that I work for now, and I used to work for, has an office in Coral Springs. And there were a couple of different times that I took business trips down there where I flew down the day before, early in the morning, landed, drove to Orlando, did Disney all day, drove back that night, got there at 2 in the morning, slept for 4 hours, and then went to work.
Right. Wow. So yeah, I just want to say, like, Robbie, I do feel like it is something going on with TikTok. I don't know, because I can just see that Unicourse, it said she shared with more than 10 friends. But like on my shared tab, I have that it's only been shared 4 times. So.
Well, the good news, Robbie, if you can't hear us and you're not going to be able to follow along, is at the end of the month, we'll have a newsletter and you can get caught up on all of the details.
There you go. That's perfect. Perfect.
That was on my list, newsletter.
Okay. We're going to have, it is, we're going to have a newsletter, a mid-roll with the newsletter.
I'm not doing twice a month newsletters.
No. But we'll announce it. We'll mid-roll it with an announcement.
Yeah. So let me think. I was thinking about this. You are at Jollywood on the 29th. Yes. So we have to decide whether I publish it that day or wait till the next day with any last second things you want to add to it, or just roll with it. I'm probably just going to roll with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Robbie.
Yes. Yes. And above your airbrushed photo, Robbie, it's going to say free.
So literally Robbie was typing that, and I'm like, what could be free for Robbie right now? What could be free? Gingerbread. Robbie, we are going to get you some gingerbread, friend, for sure. Loretta, we are going to talk about DVC timeshare. That is one of our subjects for tonight. So
I have 3 things that come to my mind when I hear Robbie.
Okay.
Free is the first one.
Okay.
What's the second one? Can you guess?
No, I can't. No.
Roller skates.
Oh, roller skates / rollerblades. Yes.
And bathrooms.
But that's there you go. He said, Tasha got it. Restrooms. Yes. That's Robbie in a hole right there. Robbie, we love you. We do so much.
Absolutely.
So, and food too. Yep. Just none of that's free. But the rollerblades in the bathrooms, those are free, Robbie. So we can,
Absolutely.
We got you there.
Yes. All right. So we probably got to hit Robbie's topics because he's probably chomping at the bit to post next week's topics already.
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay.
And
So
he's got to watch to, see what we don't talk about too. So,
Robbie, thumbs up. You can hear us? You're good? You needed them last night.
the rollerblades. Oh my gosh, Robbie. I
Even
know.
never
I went the wrong way in the crowd. That's what. So it was. I keep seeing people. Bye, Tumble Monkey. Have a good night.
So, yes.
People keep asking in Facebook, and I know, we'll get to Robbie, but people keep asking. I keep seeing all these, on the annual pass page or random things. I went to the park and it's so crowded. What is going on? What is going on? Yes, Robbie. I mean, I thought it would die down a little bit. I really did. And it absolutely did not.
I wish I could have caught Tumble Monkey in time. I would have said, just stay here. Janelle and I will probably debate something.
we will. My first thought was like, we're way more fun than that debate. So I'm just saying.
That's right. Well, you had the marathon last weekend.
Yeah.
And Jersey Week all week this week. The stage is set for them to start filming the Christmas specials. And oh, by the way, this coming weekend is a holiday weekend. So a lot of people have Friday off of work.
What's the holiday?
Veterans Day.
Oh, it is. Okay. I knew that. And I'm like, well, is that technically a holiday? But I guess it is.
Government offices, okay. Banks, things like that, they will all be closed on Friday. So, you had the perfect storm for this week to be a very busy week there.
Right. Okay.
Okay, Robbie, your first topic, and some of this we talked a little bit about last week, but we'll cover it again. Robbie asked about park hopping rules, how to maximize park hopping, and then he had asked about if you have a 3-day park ticket, is it better to buy a 2-day park hopper or 3-day park hopper? I'll hit that one first, Robbie. There is only one option. You're buying park hopper for the longevity of your ticket package. So if you had a 3-day park pass and you go there and you go to the park on the first day, and on the second day you go to their ticket window and say, hey, I want to add park hopper, you're paying for park hopper for all 3 days, even though you've already used one of your days of the pass. They used to, years ago, pre-COVID, you used to be able to buy park hopper individually, and I believe you can still do that on the West Coast, but you cannot do that at Disney World any longer. So to answer that one, if you want park hopper, it's for the totality of your ticket package. Free dinner for Dad Vets Day at Applebee's, yes. And I know one of our local grocery stores here that has a restaurant buffet, they do free breakfast. So this Friday morning from like 6 to 10, it will be packed. And that just makes me think of Janelle, you saying you don't let your mom drive. There's going to be a lot of people that probably shouldn't be driving going to that grocery.
Yeah, stay off the roads on Friday morning.
Absolutely. Okay, so yeah, Robbie. So again, if you want park hopper, you're buying it for the totality of your ticket package, not individually. We talked a little bit about this last week. Park hopping rules will change on January 9th. So between now and then, if you have park hopper, you can park hop to another park at 2 p.m. Eastern time. You might be able to sneak in a few minutes early. I think they're a little lax on that. Some cast members, others tell you, no, you got to wait. So it's kind of a crapshoot. But you will be able to park hop at 2 o'clock. Until January 9th, in addition to being able to park hop at 2, you still have to have a park reservation to get into the first park. So, and let's talk through what that means. If your intent is to go to Hollywood Studios at 2 o'clock, and you have a park reservation for Magic Kingdom, you have to at least badge in to Magic Kingdom. Even if you badge in and turn right around, walk back out, you have to badge into the park that you have the reservation for before you can park hop into any of the other 3. Will that affect the prices on January 9th? Will they go up? So never say never, Robbie, but when Disney raised the prices of parking and annual passes and dining cost at some of the sit-down restaurants, those things went up. They did not raise ticket prices at Disney World in Florida. They did in Disneyland, but they did not in Disney World, and that includes park hopping. So at this point in time, Robbie, I can't envision, and again, never say never, but I cannot envision that they're going to have a price increase between now and January 9th. It's possible, but I don't envision that happening. All
So
that
Mike said this. I was going to say, sorry, Mike. I was like, this one time Mike told me that they would never build a gingerbread house on Halloween either.
Well, but out of fairness, what date did I meet you last year?
Oh no.
Right?
November the 3rd. 100%. Oh, they did it 2 days early. They 100% started 2 days early.
More than that. Because I first met you on the 3rd, which meant I had not seen you do gingerbread yet.
But so I had already been to the gingerbread house. I missed a day of gingerbread meeting you. I didn't do gingerbread that day, and I went the next day.
So they had started on the 3rd last year?
Mm-hmm. No, they started. They had to have started on either the 1st or the 2nd.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say they started on the 2nd, and it took 3 days. Hey, Brooke. Yeah. So again, I was right there with you that it wasn't going to happen, and that they would have gone Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Right.
They wouldn't have done it on that Tuesday.
Exactly. But, would have. Well, again, I guess you probably have to throw logic out the window to some extent, because logically, Hatbox should have been there by Halloween, right?
No, right.
And it didn't happen. And it's going to be sometime later this month. And at that point, my opinion is, who cares, right? Frankly, and I think I said this maybe last week, or I said it to you, I would just as soon skip Hatbox. I'd like to see the ghost of Bob Marley show up in the Haunted Mansion.
Right. Scuba says, so what are your recommendations on where to start and where to end on park hopping? So, I mean, Scuba, are you just trying to go to like 2 parks? Is that what you're asking? Or are you trying to go to 4 parks? I think it just, where you end is what you want to see that night. Whether it be the fireworks or Fantasmic, or if you're going to go to Epcot when that show comes back.
Yeah. And there's a lot that goes into the strategy too, right? I mean, what are the park hours? The day that you're going to 2 parks, Scuba, what are the park hours at the 2 parks or 2 of the parks you want to go to? For instance, right now, if Animal Kingdom was going to be one of my parks for that day, that's the park I'm starting at, because it closes at 7 p.m. It would be silly to park hop there at 2 and only have 5 hours worth of time there. So, not to mention the fact that...
Yeah, but you could go to a park in the morning. You could go there at 2 and then end at Magic and watch fireworks.
Yeah. Hey, Madeline. Well, see, that's the other thing too. I mean, if you wanted to park hop to 3 parks, started a park and park hop to 2 others, you could. I'm also one that's a lot of travel time that you're eating up your day. No. You're eating up your day. So I'm a huge, and this is just me, but I'm a huge, and I've said this before, I'm rope dropping and I'm closing the park down. And so I love the fireworks shows, whether it's Hollywood, Magic Kingdom, Epcot, even Epcot Forever. I'm a sucker for fireworks. So I would not end my day at Animal Kingdom unless I solely wanted to park hop to see just fireworks.
Right. Have a wonderful time, Madeline.
Yeah, enjoy Fantasmic, Madeline. I won't be there. But it also, I mean, there's so many different angles that you could take on that Ask Scuba, as far as, like I said, the park hours. What things do you want to accomplish? And depending on what those things are, for instance, if seeing the parade at Magic Kingdom is one of those things, you don't want to park hop to the Magic Kingdom at 4 p.m. because you just missed them. Right. For instance. So there's a lot that goes into it. I don't know if there's a simple answer. I can't rope drop.
I agree. I don't think that there's a simple answer either. And I think that, yeah, you have to come up with your list of things that you want scuba, and then that's how you would decide, and then sometimes again, you might want to start with the park that opens the earliest, which is a possibility that that could be Animal if you want to, but and then end with the park that stays open the latest.
See, in scuba, I could probably sit and argue both sides of the coin, that it makes no sense to have park hopper and do one park a day and get the most out of it and enjoy everything that park offers in the morning, the afternoon, and the evening. I could also sit and argue that park hopper makes a lot of sense. Pre-COVID, when we would go, we would usually get park hopper, and when Animal Kingdom closed or Hollywood Studios closed, we would park hop over to Magic Kingdom to see the fireworks at 9:30 or 10 or whatever time they were at that point in time. But again, there's just so much travel time that takes up a good chunk of your park day. Now, some of that you could invest that in as giving your feet a rest, right? While you're sitting on the bus for 30 minutes or whatever. Scuba, you got to check out Animal Kingdom. I think that's such an underrated park. And I still think most people, if you asked on the street, they tell you it's a half-day park. Unfortunately, I think Disney is missing the boat. Not so much now that we're out of daylight savings, but one of the most beautiful aspects of that park is Pandora and the nighttime lighting. Well, the park closes at 8 and the sun doesn't set till 8:30. You're not enjoying any of that at all. Unless
now we can. Now you can. Now we can.
So I'm a believer that Disney should keep that part of the park open until 9 o'clock at night.
Right. The time, Scuba, right? Isn't it crazy how fast time goes when you're in a park or like when you're on Disney property? It's like time just flies.
It's kind of like a thunderstorm, right? You can have nice sunny conditions and a front comes through in thunderstorms. You're right. The day goes by so fast, except for your feet. Your feet feel like it's the end of the day and it's only 9:30 in the morning.
Yeah. No, I agree. But yeah, I just feel like time like you can look and you're like, how did it become 1 o'clock? Oh my gosh, how are we at 5 o'clock?
Yeah. And I think that, for me personally, that hits the hardest when you're vacation, you only have one day at each park. And then it's like 3 in the afternoon, and you're like, oh my gosh, there's only X number of hours left at this park, and the park is closed. Hey, Tanner, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Happy birthday, Tanner! I hope you had a great day.
Thanks. Man, a few words.
It's fine. I'm just glad I got to say it to him.
He obviously doesn't get that from me.
He
doesn't get it from Lori either, though. She's not here to defend herself. I never said that.
Okay.
Unicorn said hi to you, Kirsten. We're going to see her in 2 days. I think you found that out, didn't you?
I heard.
Yes.
I heard.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. So, Robbie, did we cover park hopping and how it and again, this is kind of all go out the window. We'll be able to readdress it at the beginning of January,
I'm laughing because Robbie just posted a question for next week.
Oh, I love him. I love it, Robbie.
We should tell everybody, this is probably more for Robbie than anybody else, but next Thursday will be our last travel talk until after the Thanksgiving week.
Right.
So the week of Thanksgiving, we're going to take off. So Robbie, get all the questions you need in between now and next Thursday or Wednesday, whatever day we do. All right. So that's park hopping that Robbie wanted us to talk about. The next thing he asked about, we'll stay with Robbie, and then we'll go to DVC, and then whatever else, taking a week off for his birthday.
Yeah, we have to, Robbie, to celebrate you.
Robbie asked about the check-in process. Obviously, you're asking about the Disney resorts, the check-in process at the resorts, and you have two options. You can check in online on the My Disney Experience app ahead of time, or you can just wait until you get to the resort and check in when you get there. I've done both. There are distinct possible advantages to both, and I'll explain why I say possible. So let's start with the online check-in process. So you check in through the Disney Experience app, whether it's the morning of, the day before. I think you can do it up to like 30 days or 60 days prior. That allows you to do all the check-in stuff. All you have to do is when you show up, you can go straight to Bell Services and drop off your luggage, and they'll tag it, and you can take off for your day at the park or Disney Springs or what have you. Good night, Soph. So that speeds up the process, right? Because you don't have to go wait in line and then talk to somebody at the front desk to get checked in and do all that, this, that, and the other. So there's time savings, and that's a definite. There's no arguing that. One thing that could happen when you check in online early, and it's a could, let's say you get to your resort at 10 a.m., for instance. You've checked in online, you drop off your luggage. It's possible, because you've checked in online, pre-checked in, if your room or a room becomes ready or available early, that they'll notify you and you can get in your room prior to 3 o'clock. It's possible, there's no guarantees, but that's a potential advantage to the online check-in. If you you still have to confirm that you want maid service if you want it every night. Yes, I think that is true, Robbie. And I think it varies. I don't think the Value Resorts give you every night maid service. I think it's every other day at the Value Resorts, at least last time I was there. I don't know if that's changed or not. I could look.
Well, we know Robbie only goes one resort, that deluxe.
Well, no, it's not deluxe. He goes to.
I know, not this time. I know. Well, but you know, he should only be asking what we get with deluxe and the suite.
Well, sure, yeah, the one that sleeps 7 of us, right? With roller skates and free food.
And campsites do not have maid service, Robbie. I can answer that one.
That's right. If you check in at the front desk, so you don't do it online at all, yeah, their soup's ready. It's just on low if you want some. Sorry. So check in at the resort, and we tend to do that. I like to hand them our magic bands and let them make sure that they're synced up or what have you, that there's no issues there. There's, again, this is possible, no promises, but if there's any remote chance of you being pixie dusted and upgraded to a preferred room, for instance, or even a suite, it's not going to happen if you check in online. Period. End of story. It will not happen. Your potential of being pixie dusted is checking in at the resort, with a guest, a cast member, a guest service member there. And there's no rhyme or reason as to when and how and why they do it, but don't ever ask to be pixie dusted. It's not going to happen. It just won't. But be kind. Walk in a good mood. Ask them how their day is. Make them feel special and important in the role that they play. Doesn't mean you'll get pixie dusted, but it certainly can't hurt your chances. Two other comments that I want to make, and this is irrelevant to whether you check in online or check in when you walk in. If you get there early, either way, whether you checked in online or you check in it there, say you're at 10 a.m., you're going to leave your luggage at Bell Services to go to the park or go to Disney Springs or what have you. They will only deliver your suitcases to your room once you are in your room. That's a change since COVID. Used to be that you'd come back from the park and voila, your suitcases were sitting in your room. Now you have to be, or somebody has to be in the room for them to bring your luggage up. There's no charge to have the luggage brought up. Gratuities are entirely up to you to do that. The other aspect is if you order groceries and they are at Bell Services, they show up for the day. Hi, Ruby. They show up at the park, at the resort. You're at the park all day, or Disney Springs. When you come back, they will deliver your groceries to your room for you. There is a small fee for that. I think it's $6 that they charge for the grocery delivery from Bell Services to your room.
Okay.
Let's see if I covered all my notes here.
I would assume that you should want to tip them too. I mean,
absolutely.
That's like a tippable service. So
absolutely, I would highly encourage that.
Yeah.
But you know, what's the saying? Gratuities are not expected, but appreciated.
Right? Appreciated.
Yes. Okay, Robbie, did that cover what you wanted to hear about the check-in process, online versus at the desk?
While we're waiting for Robbie I want to just like add something about talking to a cast member. And when I was in the park yesterday with my mom, I don't know, they wear Disney employees, cast members wear a badge with their name. And I'm telling you guys, I was walking by and I'm like, hey, Josh. I don't know Josh. My mom was blown away. She's like, and the only reason she was blown away is because of how they treated me back when I used their name. She was like, it's like he knew you. I'm like, he doesn't know me, Mom. I just called him by his name, and they appreciate that. Like their names are there, and we all want to, just be treated kindly. And I'm telling you, the name is so important to them, and you might not even think about it. They are not just a cast member. They have a name, and they are people too, and they like to feel that way, and it makes all the difference in the world.
Absolutely. Hey, Shane. And you said something that triggered my brain, and I forgot already. I know. So you remember the experience you had with the cast member at Art of Animation in May when we were there?
I'm trying to think. I remember live. No, I don't. What happened? I don't remember.
This is the epitome of it's a small world. Not the ride, but we live in a small world.
Right. Yeah.
I'm trying to clue you in without telling you.
I know you are. I feel like I've met so many people. It's like starting to affect me now.
I know. You started up a conversation with a cast member and found out that you both came from the same teeny tiny small town in Texas.
Okay, so that's what I thought. I'm like, were we from Edinburgh together, or from the Valley? And that's what it was. Yes. Yeah.
Yep. Hey, Megan.
The girl at Olga's, right, Robbie. I mean, she helped us. All we were was kind. I don't know. Like I said, if they're sweeping the floor or whatever, it just really does make it's so nice. Just they want to chit chat with you. They want to, be engaging, and I think it makes their day better as well.
So I have a question. Robbie's comment. I've not been there before. Is it Olga with an L, or is it Oga's with no L?
Olga. No L.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I'm like, gosh, maybe not. I guess I'd never been there, so got it. Okay. All right, Robbie said he was good on check-in. Check-in. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know if Tanner's on or not, if we want to do DVC. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I like that. So
actually, yeah, that's very nice. Yeah.
And somebody else asked about timeshares. I don't remember who it was and if they're still on or not.
Somebody in here, and it's Tanner. I haven't seen Tanner come, but we'll have to just keep going.
Okay. Well, we'll go ahead and do it. So the question was asked if we could talk about DVC, which is Disney Vacation Club, their timeshare process or service properties that they have at Disney World. And I know we've done a couple of these in the past. I'm not here to promote it or talk against it. one way or the other. I can give you my sense or feelings on it, but it's not cheap by any stretch. You can finance the purchase with Disney. It's a 10-year loan, and you have to put 10% down. All right, so start there. You are purchasing a number of points per year that are then used for your stay at the particular resort that you become a DVC member of. The purchase price of DVC, it's this is the math portion of the evening. So get your calculators ready. It's $217 per point, and I believe it's a 150 point minimum that you're purchasing. So $217 times 150 points is whatever. You also pay closing costs. It's like purchasing a home. Those closing costs will, on the low end, be about $380. On the high end, upwards of $1,000. And then you also pay annual dues that on the low end are about $80 per month. And on the high end, they'll go $100, $125 a month. And you're purchasing this timeshare for it's typically a minimum of 40 years with a maximum of 50 years. So you take $100 per month due times 12 months times 40 years, it adds up. The example that I did research on was for the Grand Floridian, one of the villas at the Grand Floridian. When you tally in the purchase price of the points, the closing costs, the annual dues over a 40-year period, and this is for 150 points, you are in for, rounding it to $162,000.
I think so, Megan. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So keep in mind, 10-year loan, 10% down. So you got to put 16 grand down up front, and then you're financing $145,000 over a 10-year period. 150 points at the Grand Floridian. It's 16 points per night. So that is roughly a 9-night stay per year that you would be getting in a DVC membership. Now, here's where can you reach out when you have a minute? Oh, okay. Okay. Here's where
I will.
Yeah, here's where I jump in with this. First off, if you're like my family, we stay at Pop Century, we stay at Art of Animation, we stay at the All-Star Resorts 99% of the time. We've stayed at Caribbean Beach Resort, a couple of those like that. But so if you can't, this is that apples and oranges comparison. You cannot compare what you're paying staying at All Stars or Pop to what I just quoted for the Grand Floridian. That they just don't equate, nowhere close. DVC is not available for the value properties or the moderate properties. It's a deluxe property offering. So if you're used to drinking champagne versus a Sprite, then maybe DVC is the way to go for you. But again, if you're looking at it from my family's perspective, it just financially doesn't make sense to purchase a timeshare in a property where we just wouldn't normally stay at all. So that's my feeling on the DVCs. Megan's comment about renting DVC points, there's probably 3 or 4 DVC rental companies. There's 2 that are probably the most reputable. There are still risks involved with doing that. I think at least one of the 2 of them, when you rent, so let's just argument's sake say I'm going to go next February, and it costs X. It's a fraction. It's about 50% of what you'd pay normally to stay at Grand Floridian, roughly. You got to pay it all right then and there. There's no $200 down and pay the rest 30 days before you check in like you do at the Disney resorts when you're booking with Disney or booking with travel agent. So there's the downside to that financially, putting it all up right away. The other downside is there's typically no flexibility. If you book a trip through Disney and 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks prior, you have to change your trip, you can do it, no penalty. You may pay a difference in price if prices have gone up, but there's no financial penalty to cancel. If you've rented points at DVC and you have to change your trip, you lose that money and you start all over. There's no option to push it. That's one of the risks. The other one was having to pay for it all up front. The third, and I think we talked about this, is you are essentially renting night stays from a DVC owner. And usually those DVC owners are really good about if Mike has rented points for the first week of March, Mike will get that stay. There are extenuating circumstances that could come up. If the people who own that timeshare that I'm renting from, they file for divorce, and all of a sudden that ownership is sold off, I'm crud out of luck. And I've seen a lot of stories about people who've rented points and then some mishap happened a week before their trip and they didn't have a resort to stay in, and they were scrambling at the very last second to try to find somewhere to stay. So again, I'm not telling you don't rent points. I'm not telling you don't buy DVC. Just do your homework. It's kind of like we talked about gift cards last week and how you can buy gift cards at Target with your red card and save, and Sam's and save, and people do that and pay for their whole trip. It's a great way to go, but there are inherent risks as well with it.
Right. Yeah, and I think that this would be the one time that I would promote trip insurance or the travel insurance. And I know the Total DVC, who I follow on TikTok and I watch all of his stuff. I know how he does it, and I mean that's something that you have to say, I acknowledge all these things that could go wrong, and I don't want this, insurance. Or, the recommendation is you're going to buy this and that's what you're going to do, and everybody's covered, Yeah. So.
And the other, again, I me, Janelle, I always think of this in terms of a family, right? A family trip down there. And so if you rent DVC points for a stay next June when the kids are on summer break, usually you have to pay for it all up front. You don't get $200 down. The other side to that is you then have to buy tickets to the parks. Since it's not a package deal any longer, you're not putting $200 down for your tickets for your trip. So all of your investment has to be put in up front. Whereas if you buy a Disney package, it's $200 now. The rest is due 30 days prior to check-in.
Right. And I know, and I will just say, again, I'm not defending or anything, but I do know. And I only know this about Total DVC. I don't know this about Dave's or any of the other, but you can do a firm, which is again paying over time, but you have to have, the good credit. You have to have all of that to be able to take out this little small loan that you're going to be paying for. And again, it's like putting on your credit card, but again, there are options to it. Or like you said, you have to be disciplined. It's got to go on a credit card and you got to pay that off. Whereas with the Disney thing, yes, you're totally paying it off. Although you could be putting it on a credit card every month, and what are we to say? But there are ways around it.
Yeah.
So, and I do think that they do have options. We just don't know what all of those options are.
Right. And again, even at renting the points at say 50% of the price of staying at the Grand Floridian, 50% of that may still be more expensive than if you normally stay at Pop Century, right? So you got to look at what you're trying to gain out of it. Is it to stay at a deluxe resort and drink the champagne, eat the caviar, or is it to find the most economical trip? And again, if you're like me, rope drop, and you're there till park close, it's silly to spend the money on a really nice property that I'm not going to be in very much. As long as the bed's comfortable and the shower's clean, I'm pretty happy.
Right.
So should we ask Tanner if we answered all his questions about DVC?
All right, Tanner. thumbs up if you're satisfied with our talk.
Oh, silence is golden. We're moving on. Oh boy, what a goofy.
And I'll say this while we're joking around, everybody. One, thank you for all of you guys who are in here. And if you have any questions or something pops up while you're in here and you want us to answer something, just ask in the comments. We'll write it down, and then we'll move on with answering your questions later. Hey, Mike. So
notice how she smoothly said, "We will write it down."
Yep. I already told y'all. I don't deny anything. Mike, here, look at this. I have something. I'll write it down.
That's all good.
I'll write it down.
You know I gotcha. All right, so yeah, but seriously,
Mike, miss you too.
If anybody has questions, things you want us to cover, we usually talk for about 2 hours, so you got an hour and 4 more minutes to fill. Not that we have to, but
No, we don't have to, but if you
I mean, this
ask along.
Hey, Mike, this will surprise a lot of you. I mean, Janelle gets Magic Kingdom Mondays down Main Street and Neil and all that, but these 2 hours right here are the highlight of her week.
Absolutely.
I mean, and if you were with us last week, you could tell this was the best part of her week.
The 29th, Mike. The 29th. Lynn, yeah, Lynn's in on it. Like, yeah, right, Lynn? It is.
Maybe it's the highlight of my week. I get that mixed up. So this wasn't asked, but we mentioned it early on here about park hopping changing on January 9th. And so actually, again, I scribbled down notes. January 9th is a big day at Disney World for 3 things in particular. Wait a minute. What are you both most excited about at Jollywood and Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party? I'm excited to see the reviews of Jollywood. I guess.
When is the first night? Do we know the first night? No, it's okay. I mean, you're gonna look it up.
I can.
I mean, we know Mickey's Very Merry is this weekend or tomorrow. Tomorrow.
Yep, tomorrow. That's right.
Yeah, Lynn, I saw that there's no reservations for Magic or Hollywood tomorrow and Friday, I think. I was shocked.
I read that as in she's talking about the January 9th changes.
Oh, yeah. But I can't believe I can't get a reservation for Magic tomorrow or Friday.
Yeah.
You're like,
I'm not surprised. Okay, so I did have Jollywood. I did have Jollywood written down, so we'll come back to that. So these are the things happening on January 9th. No more park reservations if you have a date-based ticket. What does that mean? That means wonderful people like Janelle who have annual passes still have to make park reservations on January 9th. Those of us that come down and buy a package with either resort and tickets or a 4-day park pass, whatever, no more park reservations on January 9th. You can wake up that morning and as you climb out of the shower, say to yourself, I feel like Hollywood Studios today, and by golly, you can go right on over there, badge right on in, no problem. So that's one of the 3 big changes for January 9th. The other one we talked about earlier is you can park hop at any time starting January 9th. If you show up at Animal Kingdom at 8 a.m. and you ride the safari, and that was the only thing you cared about doing, you can go park hop to Magic Kingdom at 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. or whatever. And you can then park hop to Epcot at noon, and then you could go to Hollywood Studios at 4. And so that's the second of the 3 big things on January 9th is park hop anytime you want. The third thing is that the Disney meal plans become effective starting January 9th. So if you were looking to take a trip and you're an old-timer like me and you remember having the meal plans, they become effective again for trips arriving on or after January 9th. I didn't write down the pricing of the meal plans. I know we've talked about it before. I think the probably the couple biggest takeaways about the meal plans, and again, Janelle's the one who says this more often than not, is she likes to know that it's just taken care of. It's part of the package price up front. I know what I'm paying, and I know that I'm getting this, and this each day. And you can budget for it easier. Then, and budgeting aspect also comes into play with how disciplined are you, right? If you don't have a meal plan and you show up and you're, hitting every restaurant along the way because you don't have a meal plan, you could spend a lot more money than if you had a meal plan and you knew that I was getting one quick service meal, one sit down meal, one snack, and the refillable drink mug at the resorts as part of your deal. Darren, you're correct. It is exciting things happening in the new year. Those were, it was kind of funny in my mind. I don't remember the date that it happened, but Disney first thing in the morning announced that no more park hopping after 2 p.m. That you could start park hopping anytime you wanted it at starting January 9th. And then quietly they snuck in parking prices went up and the cost at some of the restaurants went up and the annual passes price went up. Why are they changing for? I'm not sure, Ty, I understand your question. It sounds like they're going back to the old rules. To some extent, Misty, they are going back to the old rules. As far as like park hopping goes and no more park reservations, that's true. Again, though, annual pass holders still have to make park reservations. There will be, I think, I can't remember what it's called, Janelle, but there will be certain days that I think it's free for you to go whenever, wherever you want without a reservation. I can't remember what those are called.
I agree. Yeah, and it's like certain days, and I don't think that they've announced them yet, but yeah, I forget what they call them. Why are they changing the rules?
So let's start back with why did they have the rules? And it was the park reservation in particular was coming out of COVID, and it was Disney's way of helping to manage the attendance population in each one of the parks as they were having you socially distant, standing in line, and things like that. That was a mechanism for them to be able to manage how many people were in a park at 9 a.m. when the park opened. That was the intent of reservations. Park hopping, I think, it again gave them the ability to know that up until about 1 p.m., the park reservations made for that park, that's how many people are going to be in there. And then after 1, as people started to leave to go park hop somewhere else, they were kind of shifting around. So they wanted to keep some control over knowing how many people were in a park. But let's be honest, they also wanted to be able to charge you for a park hopper ticket if you wanted to park hop. Brooke said Caden. I don't know what that means.
Is Caden in trouble, or is Caden saying hi? Hi, Caden.
I'll just randomly throw out names too. Robert. Anyway, then the meal plan coming back. I think again, the part of it with the meal plan, and this is just my sole opinion. I know that we're 3 years removed from COVID. It was 3 years in September, October that the park reopened after the COVID closure. I think it took this long for Disney to be able to offer the meal plans again because they've still been staffing up. I mean, and this isn't a Disney problem. This is an anywhere problem. You go to restaurants and they don't have the wait staff to fill every table. And so I think it was very complicated for Disney to try to offer a meal plan that you're paying for up front, and then you might not be able to get at reservations because they were only filling 60% of their tables. Hi, Caden. So I think it's not so much Disney wanting to change the rules. I think Disney has gotten to a point 3 years removed from COVID where they feel like they're closer to the pre-COVID environment around staffing and things like that, that they could say, you know what, now we can go back to the way things were pre-COVID. Okay, so Misty wants to know the difference between old school Fast Pass, Genie Plus, and buying a Lightning Lane. Yes,
Yeah, Lynn.
that's right, Len. They did absolutely. And again, that wasn't just a Disney thing, right? A lot of companies around the country were laying people off, uh, going through COVID and coming out of it.
All right. Genie Plus. What do we want? What's the difference? I feel like I had this last week, but it's okay. I'll take it again. I don't know. Do you want to look up the meal? I can't find like a price unless it's $64.99 for the kids and $94 for adults.
And that's kind of
I
how
don't
it's
know.
broke down. I can try to find my notes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So Misty, let me make sure. Yeah, Misty. Um, so old school Fast Pass was free. Genie Plus is now a service that you buy that is like a Fast Pass, but you do it on your phone. There's no going to a kiosk and getting that free piece of paper. So you want to make sure that you know the ins and outs of Genie Plus, which Genie Plus is just what it's called on the My Disney Experience app. And that app is downloaded through any of your services, whatever kind of phone you have. If you don't have it already on your phone, but it's a My Disney Experience app. And at the beginning of your day, you're going to go and it's going to say, use Genie Plus to, schedule your day. There is a free service. There is a free version of it. And then there is a paid service. You can pay, and you pay individually by park. So if you have a 1-day ticket to Animal Kingdom and you're not going to park hop, then only buy it for Animal Kingdom that day. But if you plan on park hopping, you're going to have to purchase the multiple parks price. There you go. So you're going to get on your app in the morning at 7 a.m. and you're going to book your very first Lightning Lane selection. And the Lightning Lane is basically what you're going to pick, or the attraction that you're going to pick. And then you're going to go to the Lightning Lane, which is right next to the standby lane, in the park for that attraction that you picked.
So the fact that she asked about Fast Pass tells me that she was in the parks when Fast Pass existed, right? And so the Lightning Lane that Janelle just mentioned, that's where you're going to go to get on the ride, is the old Fast Pass line, essentially.
Right. So, and they're all right next to the standby lane. There's a standby lane with the regular, time, and then there is the now called Lightning Lane. You can buy individual Lightning Lanes for Mine Train, Tron, Guardians of the Galaxy, Rise of the Resistance. I think there's only 4. Am I missing?
Do they not do it for Avatar any longer? Flight of Passage.
Yeah, Flight of Passage. Yep.
Yeah, and so that's an important distinction, because Disney did a horrible job with branding this stuff. You buy Genie Plus and make reservations, which are called Lightning Lane reservations. You can buy individual Lightning Lanes, which are a guaranteed ride ticket, if you will, for those 5 attractions that Janelle just mentioned. I wish they would have named the individual Lightning Lanes something else, because that gets confusing to people. Now, we talked about this last week. Disney has hinted that at some point in 2024, Genie Plus will become easier to manage. It will allow you to pre-book stuff before your day.
Yeah. Misty, I always say, please just go on YouTube. I'm sure maybe on TikTok there might be somebody that gives a really good quick tutorial, but there are some really good videos on YouTube, and there have been changes made to the Genie Plus service since the beginning of it rolling out. So trying to find the most current Genie Plus kind of tutorial video, like from Disney Food Blog, is one that I would highly recommend, or All Ears, something like that. And they really do a great job of showing you how to get the most out of it. Because if you don't understand it, you really could go to the park and say, oh, I can't get this one. I can't get Jungle Cruise until 6 o'clock tonight. Well, what am I going to do right now? It's 9 o'clock in the morning, and you're not understanding, that maybe that's not the best selection for you to make at that time, and you should be choosing something else. And there's just kind of ways to go about what's best for you and your family at that time. So you really do want to not have to have a master's degree to work this app.
I think what Janelle meant to say was your best bet is to work with a travel agent.
But your travel agent, Misty, I 100% would say work with a travel agent. However, your travel agent isn't going to be in the park when your kid is crying and everybody's hungry and you're trying to figure out this stinking phone in the app. That's all, So
You're right about that, but I mean, now I'm getting into pitching the travel agent, but that's what booking a trip with an agent for next August during summer break. You got the next 9 months to have these conversations with your agent, and we're happy to do that to help make you as comfortable with your trip as possible. I'm getting on my soapbox for a second, Janelle, and I'll step off. But I don't do this. I don't do this to make a lot of money. Travel agents don't make a lot of money. I do this to make sure that the trip that you want is the trip that you get, and then at the end of that trip, it was as magical as you could have imagined it being. Okay, I'm off. I'm off the soapbox.
Okay. Well, and I do forget that yes, travel agents are there, and I don't know if Mike has any, but I know they all have some sort of a guide, or they're able to talk to you and they've used it themselves, and they have the knowledge behind it as well. So same with park hopping, same with using the transportation, they have it all down packed. So if you don't have that though, again, no matter which way you're going with it, I just think that you should really know how to work the system, just like you said, really know how to work the app, know that you can, pull down on that and try to get new times and stuff like that. You are not stuck with the time that is on the screen, and you can modify and try to find better times and all of that. So, and it just makes me think that I need to do this more on my lives, because I know people really appreciate, when I show them this is what you do and this is how you do it, So.
And again, I'm going back to travel agent thing, but there's nothing more heartbreaking than seeing on Facebook people commenting that, today's our first day and I made my Lightning Lane reservation at 7 a.m. and now it's 9 a.m. Why can't I make my next one? Well, it's not 2 hours from then, it's 2 hours from the park opening or after you've badged in. And so, again, travel agents don't cost you anything. Disney pays them. The cost of the trip already has the commission for a travel agent baked into it. So whether you book direct with Disney or you book with a travel agent, you're going to pay the same price. You're paying for a service and you're not getting it. And when I see people comment like that on Facebook, it breaks my heart that they've got this vision of magic at Disney, which we all have, and it's 7 a.m., it's 8 a.m., it's 9 a.m., and they're frustrated on day one. And they're questioning whether they should have ever gone in the first place.
I know. I mean, yesterday when I was with my mom's friends, like they were asking me about it, and they're like, we heard you can only ride 2 rides with it. I think and again, I just take that to, it was somebody who didn't know you know, maybe they were only going to be in the park for four hours. They didn't know, know a certain, time, and maybe that's all they got out of it, But
I think if you go to the Disney site about Genie Plus, it says in there to expect to get, I think, 2 to 3 rides. It's under promise and over deliver, right? If they told you could probably get 6 to 8 rides and you didn't, there'd be riots, So they undersell it. And absolutely, if you do it right, you should be able to get 6, 7, 8 easily.
Yeah. I mean, I know like sometimes I'm like, we're lightning laning the country bears. You can't lightning lane that. But at the end of the day, I mean, I'm like, we're using this up. We're taking this lightning lane, dang it. And we're going to it just because we can lightning lane this. And we're going to push this button.
Ainsley just texted. She wants the lightning lane country bears.
But you can what? Lightning lane, you can lightning lane the tiki room. That's what it is, And I'm just like, we're doing it.
Yeah. Hey, side note real quick, because the peanut gallery over here commented that you could lightning lane Muppets. You're going to Hollywood tomorrow, right?
Well, we need to stop by and see the new seats.
Has it reopened yet? I don't know. Are they still installing them? I don't know.
No, it's open because when I saw the new seats, that it was because it was open. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. I mean, they certainly look nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think you talked about that just a couple weeks ago that they needed new seating in there.
I know that was my one. I was like, oh, I hate the seats, and they needed it to be like frozen, and they're the frozen seats just in red and not blue.
Yep.
So, yeah.
All right. So you asked about the pricing for meal plans.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So let's start with the basics. There are 2 different meal plans, and they become effective for any trips arriving on or after January 9th of 2024. Regardless of which resort you stay at, whether it's a value, a moderate, or deluxe resort, you have 2 meal plans to choose from. The first is the quick service dining plan. With that plan, you get 2 counter service meals per day, 1 snack per day, and a refillable drink mug for the resorts per person in your reservation. The cost breakdown for the quick service plan, you round up or down a penny here or there, but it's roughly $57 per adult per day and just shy of $24 per kid per day. Okay, so that's the quick service meal plan. The other one is the full dining plan, the Disney dining plan. With that, you get 1 table service meal, which is your reservation restaurants. Many of the character meal restaurants are included. There are some that are not included, like the Royal Table. That's a higher credit value, so keep that in mind. But 1 table service per day, 1 counter service or quick service meal per day, 1 snack per day, and the refillable drink mug, again, per person in your package. For the Disney dining plan, it's just over $94 per adult per day, and it's just shy of $30 per child per day.
Okay. That's the other thing. So I was gonna say, kind of like the Genie Plus one. I was just like Googling it. Not like on the Disney site, it says, "Do you want to get the meal plan? Call us. Check with the travel agent." Like, there's no like prices right out there. Now, if I go into, again, Disney Food Blog or something like that, yeah, they put the pricing in there, which reminded me, again, it's great to have a travel agent and or watch videos, become educated in what you're purchasing and how to get the most out of what you're purchasing, like what the best snacks are, like what what is your snack worth? Do you want to put it on a banana, or do you want to, put it on, there's got to be, snacks that are more expensive that are, you want to make sure that's what you're, spending it on. Now, if you need a banana, you need a banana, and that's what you're, bananas cost a lot in Disney too. But, do you know what I mean? There is still a way to get more from that plan than, if you just kind of went through it,
Yeah, absolutely. And
Megan, I agree. I agree with that, Megan. And I think we should plan a day. Obviously, because you can't have the meal plan without a room, right? You have to have. So
the other thing, you can only get a meal plan if you're selling property.
Yeah. So I think the video, or the test would be, one person has the meal plan. We know how much they spent. The other person buys everything and has a receipt, and we see what adds up. And you're not trying to skimp either. You're out there buying stuff equal to the person that has the meal plan, and see who comes out ahead.
Yeah. And so it's, I can tell you probably, I would say 70%, maybe 80% of the time in that experiment, the person paying there will pay less than the person who has the meal plan. Just
Right.
financially, that's the way it works out. And when we talked about this before in the notes that I found, the advantages of having the meal plan, one was budget. You know what you're paying up front. The other is being able to pay for it over time, right? If I'm booking a trip for next Christmas, I've got the next 14 months, 13 months, whatever it is, to pay that off,
Right.
versus showing up at the park and buying my meals and paying out of pocket right then and there.
Right. Yes, Dan. Yep. That's the girl math in me. I love that too. So, Robbie, that's a really good question.
Tax, yes. Tip or gratuity, no.
Yeah.
Being able to enjoy some of the higher end foods, right? If you're paying out of pocket, you might buy the less expensive snack than the more expensive snack. If you're doing the meal plan, you're going to get the more expensive snack. You're going to get the more expensive meal at the, at wherever that you're at, than if you were paying out of pocket. So it's more of a convenience factor than it is saving money factor. It just is.
Right. Yeah,
and
that's
if you're
what I'm saying. No, I was just going to say, I agree with you that I think that if Megan and I are going into the park, we're going to be like, oh, yeah, we're only going to eat a pretzel for lunch. We're not going to get, we're going to do this meal later. But if I get that's how we're going to be. Hey, Stephen. But if we did do the dining plan just for comparison's sake, like, yes, she gets whatever her meal is, I get a comparable meal, or the same thing, and just add everything up at the end of the day and say, that was so much food, that was so worth it, all of the things. Because I remember when we did it, and I just felt like, I was like, I can't have another snack. There's so many snacks, like everybody, especially when you had the little kids we had 3 kids. Everybody got a snack. Everybody wasn't eating their snacks. So we ended up getting snacks, packing it away, taking it into the park, already having our stuff, getting another snack. We were just constantly, because some things, if there is a higher price snack, I just remember they were like, nope, you can have 2 of those for the, you get 2, of these snacks, because they weren't real, the price wasn't worth, what you were getting out of the cost. So, I just felt like it is a lot of food. And, again, I would hope that people would come away saying, I hope that people would come away saying that, it is so much food, so.
2 things. One, and this goes pre-COVID as well with the meal plans. a lot of people, to your point about the snacks, they had most of their snack credits on their very last day, and when they were checking out of the resort, they'd go into the cafeteria and they'd get the Rice Krispie treat, they'd get the this, they'd get the that, and they'd pack it away and take it home, and they'd have treats for the next week at home. The other thing that I think gets lost in this, if you're a coffee drinker, for instance, that having the refillable mug is a part of this. You get up and go into the cafeteria at Pop Century and get your cup of coffee. If you're a 2 or 3 cup coffee person a day, that is a huge savings over a 5, 6, 7 day stay. If you're, like us, we get back from the park at night, we're thirsty. We grab our mugs and fill up and chug some soda or whatever, and then fill it up again to take back to our room. That saves a lot of money versus having to buy drinks.
Right. Shane, I'm telling you, like, Robbie, you like chai? It does not include chai teas, Robbie.
Robbie, you can't ask questions here and post them on Discord though. That's double dribble.
Robbie is so bougie. He needs his chai tea.
So again,
I drink. They might have chai in the tea bags, Robbie. They might, because they do have the different, like breakfast and green tea and stuff like that. But they could have chai tea. I'll bring you chai tea. I drink chai tea every morning, so I'll bring you chai tea, Robbie.
I think it's easy and safe to say you're not getting the meal plan to save money. That we know that's not true.
Right.
Flat. It's about budgeting, paying over time, knowing that it's taken care of, enjoying the higher price snacks, whatever. There's that ever optimist in each one of us that is hoping that, hey, the meal plan came back. That has to mean they're going to do free meal plans eventually, right? I mean, they had those promos pre-COVID that for a period of time, if you booked a non-discounted resort package, you got the Disney meal plan for free.
Right.
You're right,
Robbie. It is convenient. Yes. And again, you want to be able to go to that. You want to go to Narcoossee's and be able to get the meal. Whatever you want. You don't want them to be like, nope, you can only choose from these 3 items over here. So that's just not the case. You're able to have these really nice meals. And I think it's somewhat of a luxury to just be able to go and get whatever you want. And I think it makes it way more fun.
Yep. All right. Anything else on meal plan before we go to the next topic? Janelle's got 6 more topics she wants to cover. She doesn't know what they are, but she has 6 more.
I know.
All right, last call for meal plan.
Any other meal plan questions? Okay.
So I'll hit the next one real quick. We mentioned this early on. If you aren't on Janelle's Discord, is it up there, down there? I don't know. I'll do this. If it's one of those places, in her bio, in her link tree, join her Discord. There's a page there where you can send in your topics that you want covered on these calls, and Robbie can attest we cover them. But there's also a new page on there for our newsletter, and we're doing monthly newsletters. Our first one came out at the end of October, and we will post them at the end of each month. For at least the first couple, 2 or 3, we're kind of recapping these weekly calls so that if you miss them, or you may have forgot what we had talked about or whatever, we'll kind of hit the highlights of those. Over time, we might evolve into more content on the newsletters, but those are out there. And again, usually within the last day or 2 of the month, we'll post those. So that was that topic. The next one is all Janelle's.
I don't even know what I asked for.
Oh, you didn't ask.
I'm talking.
What?
I said I'm the one talking.
Yeah, you're gonna do the talking.
Okay.
Your firsthand account review of Frozen Holiday Surprise last night.
Okay, and I'm surprised. I forgot. I know you took. um, First off, there's a few little things that I think you can do in Disney to say that you saw the first one or you did the first this. Disney's been around for so long. So it is so fun when you get to say, like, I mean, hey, mark it in the book. I went to the first one. I didn't even think about that. But I thought it was super cute. Um, I wasn't expecting fireworks, and there were, fireworks intermittently, scattered throughout. And I really liked that at night we get Anna, Elsa, Olaf, and Kristoff. Like, we get another, show, we get more characters, that we have the opportunity to see. And especially Elsa. I mean, even during Friendship Fair, Elsa, when she comes out, everybody screams and they get another chance to see her, and she's dressed a little bit more elegantly, and for winter, and everything. But it's really cute, and it's about 9 minutes long, so not too long. You sit there, you watch it, and you go on with your day. Now, the only couple, things I noticed, and this was last night, and we'll have to see when I go again, is like everybody who was there for the show kind of hunkered down for the fireworks. And like they were just stayed put. Now, I don't know if because last night was a lot of locals, like it was a lot of people coming to see just that show, and they were like, the park was insanely crowded. We're not riding rides anyway, so they just stayed there and stayed put for the fireworks. But I mean, you do have a little bit of time, or be prepared. 6:15 to 8 o'clock is kind of a long time to sit there and hold your spot for the fireworks, but it is completely doable. But I would say that after last night, I really miss the castle being the Christmas presents again. I miss what they were last year, and I definitely miss the icicle lights. And I know a lot of people in my live and in all of my comments everywhere, it's all about the icicle lights. And as much as everybody loved them, and I get it, they were pretty and elegant, and it was so special. Like, they're not coming back. And it just reminded me, like, we have to embrace moving forward and embrace new. And it's really pretty. And I'm glad, I got to see it. And I'm glad we got something new that was just more than projections on the, the castle. Like, they gave us a little show.
Yeah.
So,
see, I mean, I love the icicle lights. I think the icicle lights were beautiful, but it was very static, and that was it, right? Where with the projections, if they come up with a new concept and want to showcase it after Thanksgiving, boom, they can do it. So I think there's a lot of value there, and there's a lot more to showcase than just the icicle lights. The other thing that always drove me nuts about the icicle lights, it's kind of like going to the grocery store, and no matter which line I pick to get in is going to be the longest line. It didn't matter. It seemed like whenever we took a trip down there, that happened to be the doggone week that they had the big cherry picker truck sitting right in front of the castle to hang those doggone lights.
Right. Yes. Right. Okay, Megan, are they still doing night projections? It's only of the castle that, because Elsa, that's the whole thing, is it's Elsa making the castle look this way. She throws her magic onto it. I'm trying to see if I have a really good picture.
So the new show, Frozen Holiday Surprise, happens at 6:15 p.m. every night, and on party nights it also happens at 8:15 p.m.
So yeah. So I
But
think last night I kept saying it wrong. Like I thought it was only at 8:15 on party nights, but on party nights it's two times, 6:15 and 8:15. But on a non-party night, it is only one time, and one time only because we will then have fireworks at 8 o'clock.
right.
So
I don't know if this ends on the last party night on December 22nd, or if this runs through Christmas Day. I don't think I saw an ending.
Yeah. Megan, did you see anything? I agree. I'm not sure that they had an ending to it. So I would assume that this is it, and if they're putting it into the party night, and then after, I just can't see them changing it for for 4 days or 5.
So
and Jollywood starts on the 11th.
11th. Okay, perfect. My take from last night was this. I would not have wanted. I mean, I'm not a. To me, it's not a big deal to be there for the first one, right? Had I, whether it was the very first night or the second or third night, irrelevant to me. So it was cute. I thought it was really well done. But to stand in that horde of a crowd for that 8-minute or 9-minute show, I would have probably been like, that was it for this mass of a crowd. So I don't know what I was expecting. If I thought it was going to be more than 8 or 9 minutes, I'm not sure. But it was very well done. Just the crowds were nuts last night.
I thought it would be more like Hollywood, where it would kind of like switch out. Like, like maybe every 5 minutes something new would happen on the castle. Like at Hollywood. I think that would have been awesome for them to do that. Again, the whole premise was like Olaf and Olaf's brothers and sisters, I think. The little snow guys, like they were the ones, helping change the castle, and like maybe every 5 minutes they come out and roll around and the castle changes to, another shade of blue or something. I agree, Megan. So two things I wonder about the busyness and like how it'll go. One, it was so annoying that the stage was up there and we could not get closer, because I'm telling you, the minute that we can get closer and that ABC Christmas special stage is taken down, we're going to be able to see it so much better. But we were so far away from Elsa, Anna, and all that. Like, it wasn't that easy to see. And so I'm excited to go back next week.
Yes, and to piggyback, I mean, like you said, the stage impacted the space. And Megan, I don't know if you were on earlier, but this is it's Jersey week, so you got most of New Jersey there. B, it was a marathon weekend this past weekend, so you might have people that extended their stay. You have the fact that they're going to film the Christmas specials this week, and this coming weekend is Veterans Day holiday weekend. So I think you factor all those things in, and that's probably, and the fact that it was the very first show last night makes it very busy. I would imagine over time it won't be quite as busy, although I'm really interested, specifically tomorrow being the first Christmas party night. If I were going for the Christmas party, I'm not there during the day. We can get in as early as 4 o'clock. So do I say to myself, well, I want to go ahead and see the show at 6:15 so it's out of the way so I can enjoy the party when it truly starts at 7? And if that's the case, all of the day ticket people are going to be staying. What are they going to do with them? You're supposed to leave at 6 p.m. Are they going to send them out? Are they going to allow them to mill on Main Street and see the show?
Right.
I don't know.
For 15 minutes. I agree.
I hope Disney's thought that through. Tomorrow night, 6:15 could be a train wreck on Main Street with people leaving, 100%. But not wanting to leave because they want to see the show. I think it'll be crazy, crazy, crazy.
The other part of me is like, will it be? I think it would be a little bit when word gets out. Because I mean, when I was standing there last night, I mean, this woman walked by with her children, and she was like, is everybody getting ready for the fireworks right now? Like they didn't understand why we were all standing around, what we were waiting for. And so I don't know. Yeah, people know, but at the other hand, I don't know how many people know.
So I have to ask you this though. We'll use tomorrow night's the party. What I have a hard time believing they're going to kick people out at 6 and not allow them to watch that 6:15 p.m. showing. I mean,
Right.
what's the point of having it 6:15 on party nights if you can't stay? So I think that's going to be really interesting tomorrow.
I'm not going to be there to find out.
Right. No, I know.
Yeah, but
we'll hear, right?
yeah.
We'll hear. I mean, I'm sure probably at 6:16 tomorrow night we'll have Facebook posts from people that were being ushered out of the park and they couldn't stay to watch the show, or people that are coming in for the party complaining that non-party guests were able to stay past 6 to watch that. Either side's going to complain tomorrow, one way or the other.
Absolutely. And again, I mean, everybody on here, and if you watch this on some sort of a replay, or just do your homework on the park times and when they close. And if you notice something in the morning, like when you're walking in and there's a sign there and it says Magic Kingdom will close promptly at 6 o'clock, it really means Magic Kingdom is going to close promptly at 6 o'clock. And it's not just a joke, because I do feel like people walk in and they're just like, what is that sign? Like what do they mean there?
Yeah, that must not be for me. Else.
Yeah. So
all right, so party nights at the Magic Kingdom, if you don't have a party ticket, the park technically closes at 6 p.m. and they will work to graciously usher you out of the park. If you have a party ticket, the party technically starts at 7 p.m. You are allowed in as early as 4 p.m. And from what we've seen from the Halloween party, the line outside for those trying to get in at 4 is bonkers. Segue to one of my other topics. What is the usher out of the park, entered in the park, party start time for Jollywood?
I know about entry into the park, and everything will be done at the front of the park. There will be no other bracelet putting on spots anywhere else, if I read it right. So like it's not like at Magic, if I'm have a ticket to get in, I can go to other areas of the park. Everything will be done at the front of the park. And I don't know, so the 11th is on Saturday. Ainsley's here, so I won't be going to the party, because I wanted to see what would Hollywood be like on one of the party days. So maybe next week.
If you don't have a party ticket, what time do you have to leave Hollywood?
I have no idea.
Okay. And if there's no wristbands, wouldn't logically that tell you non-party goers have to be out before party goers can come in?
Yeah.
So I wonder, because doesn't the party start at 7:30?
I believe so. I believe so.
The park closes at either 6 or maybe 7 for non-party.
Okay, let me look up park. Let me look up park times.
And Lynn, you're right. Yes, they do check bands starting at 6. I've seen countless people commenting that I don't have a party ticket. The park closes at 6. I have dining reservations at 6:15. Can I stay? No. Your dining reservations have to be prior to 6 p.m. And then, yes, they will let you stay and finish your dinner, and then they will graciously shepherd you out of the park. But they're not going to stay for 6:15 dinner.
On Saturday, so it's 8:30, Mike. Hollywood is open from 8:30 to 8. And so the special ticketed event is from 8:30 until 12:30.
Wow. So, and Jollywood costs more than Mickey's Very Merry, right?
My ticket, like for a pass holder, we get $10 off. So regular it would be 159 for that was for our ticket, and I know that was the bottom price. It wasn't anything lower than that.
They're about the same.
Yeah.
But you're getting 4 hours less, right? I mean, you can walk into Magic Kingdom at 4 p.m. for the party and be there till midnight. Wow. So I'm anxious. So again, if you didn't hear, Janelle has tickets to Jollywood on November 29th, which is the Wednesday after Thanksgiving week. And so we will plan on that next night, that Thursday, the 30th, to have a full-on Jollywood debrief from Janelle. Shane,
all the rides.
As far as I know, there are.
And the other thing I do know is that there will be a special virtual queue for Rise of Resistance. If you go into the app under queues, there is we now have virtual queues for Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Hollywood, and Disney Springs. And if you click on it, it is the Star Wars Rise of Resistance Disney Jollywood Night queue that you can enter, and you can get into the queue at 8 p.m.
So, question on your Jollywood night. The park closes at 8 p.m. Party starts at 8:30. Is there no Fantasmic?
Let me look. And then just so you all know, the other virtual queue at Disney Springs is for Santa Claus. So if you want to see Santa, virtual queue at Disney Springs. All right. Fantasmic. I'm going to say no. Like, I feel like that means no Fantasmic.
Robbie says Fantasmic.
Shane, I know it's getting... Oh, Robbie says Fantasmic because that's 7:15.
So for me, this is like Black Friday shopping or the day after Christmas shopping. I want to be down there just to people watch to see if there is a Fantasmic at 7:15 for day ticket people, and that ends 7:40-ish, that they're going to shepherd them all out of that place, and all of the party goers are going to be in at 8:30. I want to sit and just watch that.
Yeah. So yeah, it says 7:15 Fantasmic.
Kayla wants to know if the Jollywood crowd will be smaller than Mickey's Very Merry. I'm going to say yes. For to me, logically, it's yes for one reason only. Hollywood is a much smaller park than Magic Kingdom. There's not as much space. There's not as many attractions or rides. So logically, I would say yes, that there will be a smaller number of people. And the fact that, I mean, it's not like Magic Kingdom where they're allowing both non-party and party people in there at the same time for a 2-hour period. This sounds like they got to get everybody out before they can let everybody in. And that's, like I said, I'd love to sit on a park bench outside and watch that happen.
Yeah.
So do we... Did you say the first party is on the 11th?
Yeah, it's Saturday.
Wow. So on Veterans Day itself. Interesting. I hope it goes well. My fear is that you're going to have people get frustrated, angry. Somebody says something, and there's going to be bad things that come out of it.
I agree. I agree. But we'll have to just watch and see.
And I'm curious for your debrief as well to hear what things you got to experience at Jollywood that you don't get to experience at Hollywood Studios during the holidays, right? I mean, we know during the holiday time, they do the projections on the Hollywood Hotel, and they have Snope on, is that Sunset Boulevard? I don't remember which.
It's on Sunset. It's actually on both. They have it on both streets.
Okay. So you get to experience all that without a Jollywood party. So I'm interested to see what additionally you're getting out of Jollywood, other than lighter crowds so you can enjoy their attractions. They're doing Fantasmic at 7:15. I assume there's not a later Fantasmic.
I agree. Yeah, the Muppets is going to have a lot live orchestra. And I also heard that at Tower of Terror, like when you come out, there's a upstairs. I've seen Goofy up there and stuff. Well, I feel like up there is supposed to be like a bar, like some sort of a Tower of Terror bar that they're supposed to have. So, yeah. Oh, the Tip Top Club. Yeah.
Robbie, I have to admit, when I read your thing that Muppets was going to have a live orchestra and Brown Derby, I finished the sentence, and Brown Derby was going to have penguins playing.
Yeah. Virtual queue for the Tip Top Club. Okay. I'm honestly glad I'm not going on like the first night or I want to learn about it. I want to know. I want all the kinks to be worked out, kind of when I get there.
Yeah, and I think for you going the Wednesday after Thanksgiving week, I mean, there's not going to be as many travelers down there, vacationers, as there would be.
I mean, that night still isn't sold out.
I mean, like I said, this coming Saturday show, that's Veterans Day. Again, people have a 3-day weekend. A lot of people do, and it's going to be crowded. Now, are any of the Jollywoods sold out yet?
I think so, but I'm not sure. So you can have a Fireball tent where they're giving you free samples. The first 2 are sold out. Okay.
Robbie, somehow, some way, we're going to break you of this idea of free at Disney.
I agree. The only thing free is a smile on the cast member's face. That's it.
Yeah. And by the time Jollywood starts, you might not see many smiles.
Sometimes you have to spend money to make money.
That's right, Robbie.
It's true, Robbie.
More often than not, you're spending money to make memories, though. That's a definite.
Yeah. Kayla, 100%.
All right, so anything else Jollywood related? I pivoted over to there. Okay, not on my list, but the thought crossed my mind. Now that we've just had daylight savings, any word on when Animal Kingdom is going to start their tree projection show again?
I don't think so.
Robbie.
And have they named, or is it going to be the same? Let me see.
That I don't know. So for anybody keeping score while Janelle's looking, now that it is 9:25 p.m. Eastern, there are only 25 more showings of Epcot Forever.
I felt so bad. Like the other day when we met with my mom's friend, whatever, last Friday, I had the worst attitude towards Epcot Forever. And I was like, y'all should not stay for this show. And they were just like so disappointed. And I was like, I'm going to stop talking about how horrible I think this show is. Bye, Robbie.
Wait, so they were disappointed because of how you presented it to them?
Yeah, or well, they wanted a really good show and they thought it was still harmonious. Like they didn't know. Like they had no idea. Sure. And so I was just like, I would take this time to walk out to the parking lot and get ahead of traffic, you know? So, and they did release the score to it. They did release all the music.
But again, even with the Epcot Forever for the 10 minutes or so that the fireworks happen, the show itself for those 10 minutes, I think is great. The fireworks are wonderful. I mean, there's nothing better than hearing Walt's voice. It's just the length of the show. So if you can plan it again during these last 25 days where you see the golf ball lit up in the stuff that happens around there and then see Epcot Forever, it's not a bad way to end up your evening.
No.
Kayla, I am 1,000,000% with you right there. I am an Illuminations guy all day, every day, and I'm a Wishes guy at Magic Kingdom all day, every day. I'm still holding out hope that the new show called Luminous is an ode to Illuminations and Harmonious. I mean, if you take a part of Illuminations and a part of Harmonious, you come up with the word luminous. So that's my hope. And I'm a simpleton. I adored the fact at the very beginning of Illuminations when those torches were lit and the guy went whoosh, and they were blown out. I mean, that just loved that. I mean, just it's so simple of a concept, but so magical, all in and of itself. Kayla, I hope I'm right. I really hope I'm right. Janelle, as Janelle proved earlier, when I said they never build a gingerbread house on Halloween, I was wrong. So.
No, Kayla, I agree with you. As soon as Mike said that to me, I was like, oh, Mike's onto something, you know? And I've mentioned it to other people. I know I don't say it often. Mike's onto something. And he's over there laughing because, you know, if he's wrong, he knows I'm never going to let him, you know, live it down. It would be right, Megan.
Yes, check back in on December 7th for our travel talk, and we'll find out.
Yeah, well, you'll find out how I let Mike, you know, feel about it.
Yeah, well, no, Shane, that's probably what she meant. She should have said I should be on something. Is probably what she meant. Now, can we share this news? That while Janelle and I will review Luminous on our travel talk on December 7th, which is Thursday.
Yeah.
We will both see it together.
Yes. Yep, we will. So I agree, Shane. I'm sorry, cat's out of the bag. Mike is you know, Mike is on to something. Yep. So yeah, we're gonna watch it together and we're both very excited. So yeah.
One of us is. I'm not sure about the other one.
Mm-hmm. So I know, Kayla, there's so many people that, I mean, I feel like Robbie, if he was on here, he would be saying he's missing it, you know, by a few days. There's so many people missing it by a few days. I felt like people felt that way about Happily Ever After, all the things. But the one thing that we do know about this is that it will be around, hopefully, for, you know, a while, and you'll have the opportunity to, you know, schedule another trip and come and see it. So, and we all know there's going to be tons of videos and all of the things. So,
and why is it debuting on December 5th?
Because that's Walt's birthday.
Just checking.
Yeah. I feel like someone told you that. Because Mike was like, I don't know why it's a Tuesday. So yeah, not another trip, Scuba. We're gonna keep you. We're gonna keep Mike employed over here. So yeah, Darren, that's Walt's birthday. That was, you know, I'm like, everybody's Googling now. I mean, that's what I heard. Let's see.
That's what I heard.
It was on the internet. Okay, so just to go back to the Animal Kingdom Tree of Life, there's nothing on the show. I mean, the only thing is I'm sure that the tree might be lit up, I mean, it gets dark here now around 5:30. Obviously, Magic Kingdom's doing the Frozen holiday surprise at 6:15. And the park didn't close. The park doesn't close until 7. So you can clearly see it illuminated, as well as Pandora and all the other things that we were talking about earlier, which again reminds me I need to be going over there. I just need to find a way to get out of Magic Kingdom. I am like sucked into this Magic Kingdom hole right now. And
I'm sure
I can't seem to get out of it.
I assume you know this, but over in Pandora, well, first off, you know this part, that as long as you're in line for any ride in any of the parks prior to closing, you get to ride. Okay. So if Animal Kingdom closes at 7 p.m., for instance, and somebody gets into the ride for Flight of Passage at 6:59, they'll get to ride. It could be a 30-minute wait. It could be a 45-minute wait. It could be whatever. You could hang out in Pandora until that last person is done riding that ride. So, and that doesn't mean you have to go ride it. You can just hang out there knowing that you probably have at least 30 minutes, maybe 45 to up to an hour after park close to hang out in Pandora and see the lights.
So Walt's birthday is the 5th. It is. Double checked.
I was going to say, I'm sure somebody named Walt was born on December 5th, whether it was that one or not. I'm sure it was. You had a safe bet there.
That's Walter White's, you know.
Yes.
It was the wrong Walt.
Yeah, the famous owner of White Castle.
Yeah.
All right. So Luminous starts on December 5th. So there are 25 Epcot Forevers left.
Yes.
And then Forever, Never, Evermore.
Thank goodness.
Are we going to see barges again with the new show?
Yeah. I mean, I know Lem had posted a video of like, and someone was like trying to explain, oh, maybe it was Ron was like trying to explain them to me, but like they're taco shape, but then they have like arms that come, it's crazy. They're big. I think that the reason people aren't going to complain about them, by Shane, thank you so much. Because it's like in the middle and it's not these barges all out in the lagoon, you know, but again, it's something that's, you know, out in the middle of this lake and they're there.
Let's be honest. So, if somebody will find a reason to complain no matter what it's for, right? I'm going to plug my phone in before I get frozen up. JJ, how are you tonight? Sorry.
But yeah, there's barges, and like I said, there's videos on it out there, and you can see them testing it, and it has all these crazy arms that come off of it. But when it's not, I'm sure during the show, it's very compact. So either way, I don't know that was anybody ever going to Epcot and just saying, oh, I'm so happy that I can look across the lagoon, you know?
Well, you know this. There were plenty of people complaining about the barges sitting out there.
I know. And were they the ones that are like, oh, this just totally messes up my picture? Like, what, you know what I mean? Like, again, the show outweighed what the barges look like to me, Absolutely. You know? And it just, you know, unless you just become so used to something. But at the end of the day, when the barges were taken away, I still didn't look across there and go, thank goodness the barges are gone. My life is so much better. Absolutely didn't happen, you know? And so, and now there's something else there. And I think it's just like, you know, Disney is getting ready to bring us something hopefully really spectacular. And to get that, right. You know, even when you go to World of Color, you know, all the little pipes stick up out of the ground, you know, and you can see, yes, it's, you know, they're only this tall out of the, you know, but it's still not perfect. It's not like you're not walking by going, wow, I wonder where World of Color is, you know, no, you can see everything. So I don't get it, you know.
The only reason why I would argue that not having the barges is a good thing. Is if I can be right at the entrance to World Showcase or right by Canada, and I can see that Carmel shop in Germany. That's cool.
Whatever. The American Concert Pavilion blocks you from that, so go complain about that.
Now, I've said before, I mean, you can't ask for a harmonious or illuminations type show and also expect there to be no barges. It doesn't work.
No.
You can't have one without the other.
Yeah. It's going to be fine. It's going to be a wonderful show.
Yep.
It'll be good.
Yep.
So, yeah, but yeah, there's barges there. And like I said, I mean, and maybe it was because there was such a big deal about the taco barges out there. Like, again, I don't know. I don't walk by just saying, like, oh, that is just the worst. You know, I just don't even let it affect my day. And like I said, to even pay attention, they're probably testing it and all the things, and I'm not even paying attention.
So there are only 10 days left of the Food and Wine Festival.
Okay. I feel like, yeah, Kayla, yeah. I feel like if that's your main problem being in Epcot, then maybe you just shouldn't be there.
And the Festival of the Holidays will start 2 weeks from Friday.
Okay. I'm ready. I'm ready for new food. Like, I'm ready.
I tell you, after watching, frankly, I'm ready for the Arts Festival to come back. I can't wait to see Lee doing the chalk art. To me, that was one of the most interesting, fascinating. And then the gentleman who did the painting, you know, during a song and had to finish it in that amount of time.
Trevor Carlton.
Yeah.
Trevor Carlton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those two things are
Kayla.
by far were my favorite. I mean, I love the Festival of the Holidays. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. And yeah, the Festival of Holidays, it's good. I don't know what I was doing the other day, and I literally, maybe I was telling my mom was asking a question, and I had this flashback of eating the cookies all in the one day. And I was like, I am not eating the cookies all in one day again.
We're not doing that when I'm there.
We're not doing that. We're not. I mean, she was asking me, she's like, you remember that one time we went around and we got all the food? And that's what it was. And I was like, yeah, you have no idea. Do they change the overlay? They did last year. They did, Kayla, and I will be honest with you. I wrote it one time and I never went back, and I waited for them to change it back to the original songs. They changed it to Run Run Rudolph. And you really, I know when I went, you couldn't really hear the song. It's only one song. We wanted more from it. Give us 6 different, holiday songs to like choose from. And I know people, again, they complained about it. I didn't care for it. It wasn't as exciting to go on it and not get the song. I think that's, the ride is amazing, but I think another really big part of it for me is to see what song you're going to get. And when I couldn't do that anymore, I was like, I'll just wait.
But see, for me, I guess I kind of feel like you're right. Only one Christmas song is kind of a bummer. But if you're on vacation there and that's the song you get, it's kind of like I'm ready for them to start cycling new songs. The 6 that they've had for a year plus now, year and a half, whatever it's been, it's time to get some new blood in there.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, Disney is pretty good at listening to if people don't like something. So we'll just have to wait and see what they say. There has been no announcement, I think, either way on it. Yeah. There's plenty to choose from, yeah. So I don't know.
I mean,
so we'll just have to wait and see.
Who doesn't want to hear a little Mariah Carey Christmas?
Yeah. I do think it would be fun to ride in like all I want for Christmas is, I mean, I would be singing it, you know? So I will tell you, I know I told you yesterday, Mike, you know, in a text, but my mom had never ridden Guardians of the Galaxy, and neither had any of their friends. And they, oh my goodness, I was like, oh, you know, ask them if they got in the queue, and they were like, no, we heard the queue was impossible to get in. And I was like, oh my goodness. So I asked, is there anybody that wants to go that, you know, and so one of them, you know, I would like to go. And so I was like, okay, you know, you get to go. So they came off. I mean, he was so appreciative. Like I had given him the best gift ever. He loved Guardians of the Galaxy so much, you know, and they both of them came off and they're like, how do we get to do this again? Which again reminds me of the individual lightning lane that you can really ride it 2 times. One you have to pay for, and one you just have to get into the virtual queue. But for somebody, they had no idea. They had absolutely no idea what they were getting themselves into, what they were about to do or experience or anything. And it was just so amazing to watch them come off and say, like, how do we get to do that again? So it was fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, yeah, so again, and that was the same group that was like, if you buy the Genie Plus, you can only ride 2 rides too. And I was like, we need to hang out more, ladies. Like, I need to, yeah, we need to fix this, you know. So,
yeah,
but
that's awesome. All right, let's shout out to the 25 that are on. Anybody have any last minute questions they want to ask that we can entertain? Otherwise, we'll start to wrap up. Janelle's sitting there going, Mike's trying to wrap up. This is insane.
I didn't realize. I didn't. You're welcome, Megan.
Yeah, thank you.
You know, so many, I know so many, I need to make visits to everywhere. So looking forward to Christmas in the parks. I am, Megan. Like to see the Dapper Dans in there, like Christmas and Neil. And I saw Grayson today. I was going to have a non-park day. Funny story. It's funny to me, but like I went and had breakfast with Jerry and her daughter this morning, and I said, "Oh, I had told Tim I'm not going into the park, but I am gonna go see the gingerbread house," and he was like, "Okay." So I told Jerry, I'm like, "Hey, I'm gonna hop on the monorail and I'm going over to Grand Floridian. If you're more than welcome to, we can all ride together." Okay, they came, and so I was like, well, if we take the monorail, I'm just going to stay on. You guys can get off and, you know, I'll be on my way. I didn't want to impose. And so Jerry was like, I really would love to take the boat. It was a gorgeous day. She's like, let's just go ride the boat. And I said, that's fine. I'll get off the boat and I'll walk. And so we're on the boat. They had no idea, but I'm over there making a reservation. I was like, I can't walk by and not go into the park. So I end up going into the park, going and see Grayson. But it only taught me that I was where I was supposed to be because I was sitting there with Jerry, and we were playing with Grayson. And this nice young lady came up to me, and she was talking to Grayson, and Grayson pointed at me, and I had no idea who she is in the comments or anything like that. But she told me her name and everything. And she was like, I have always just wanted to meet you. And Grayson told me you're just sitting right there. And so it was a great moment because if I didn't go into the park, that never would have happened for her. And, you know, we got to meet and chit chat for a little while, and I wasn't live, and I love that so much. But she was like, "Oh, it was a non-park day for me." And I was like, "Me too." And here we both are in this park. That's what Magic Kingdom does to you, or Disney, you know. And I just kept saying, I was like, "Yeah, if I would have gotten on that monorail, I wouldn't have gotten off." And Jerry's daughter was like, "I'm pretty sure you would have gotten off, Janelle." She's like, think I could bet on that." And I was like,
Yeah.
so.
And something tells me Tim was betting on the fact that you were going to go to a park.
Well, so I texted him and I was like, "I'm in Magic," and he was like, were you kidnapped? Like, what happened?" He was like, you were so confident in yourself of like you're bypassing the front of that park," and I was like, I couldn't do it.
It's funny.
So it was a good day. And I like that it was a non-park day and it turned out to be a park day and everything. But yeah, the park is so magical right now. The decorations, the everything, it's just gorgeous. So good job, Disney. You know, it was so meant to be. And it was the park's right, Megan. So Megan's coming to Universal next week with her sisters, and you know, once a week I give her like something, and she's like, "You're just trying to get me to go there," because she said she's only going to Universal. So it is a gravitational pull, 100%, Scuba. And I was like, "Look, it just happens to be time for Grayson. Like, we should go say hi to Grayson." So, but I know, Megan, you know, I can just come scoop you up, couple hours, you get some videos, and then I'll give you back to your sisters.
Well, I think where you start with is suggesting that you scoop her up and take her over to the Grand Floridian to see the gingerbread house, and then you know where it's going to go from there. Hey, Grant, how are you?
So yeah, I know her sisters would probably be like, she's not gonna come back anytime soon. JJ, I'd love to scoop you up. Yeah. Oh, and then by the time Megan gets here, like I'm sure all the like resort trees would be up and stuff, and then it's gonna become way more. So I think this is Megan. She's like, "I'm going to stand strong," and Janelle's going to come over here. So, but yeah, resort trees should be going up next week. So there's so much. So much happening. So if you're coming, when I was at the Contemporary today, the gingerbread was going up there. It's not, I agree, Megan, the girls will always need a break. Yes. The construction on the Contemporary was happening, and then I saw Kirk today. They were doing the carousel. The carousel is done. It's actually done. So, yeah. So there was nothing at the boardwalk when I was there yesterday. So those are all like the updates that I have of what I know. So
Awesome. That'll be full on Christmas next week.
it will. Absolutely. And yeah, we'll have to figure out how we're gonna it was Princess Theme, and then this year they based it. It's super cute. I saw a picture of it. I saw a little bit while Kirk was there, but it's super cute. It's based off of some of the countries in the World Showcase. So was it DuckTales? Is that what it was? I thought it was the World Showcase. I did see the Donald, but maybe it is the DuckTales theme, and I don't know where I got the World Showcase thing. Maybe that came from something else. So yeah, it was super cute. But last year I loved the princess theme. Each one of the horses, there was a Beauty and the Beast one. I know there was a Snow White one, and maybe a Tiana's and something else. Okay, DuckTales. Then I'm wrong. Okay, so it's DuckTales. So, yeah. So, all right. No other questions. We will wrap up Discord for if you have any other questions, comments, or suggestions on, what we should do, not do, or any Donald Duck and his buddies. Thank you, Grant. But that link is in the Linktree bio. And I know Megan's like, I already told him thank you once. You're welcome, Lynn. Thank you, everybody, for being here. If you need anything, all the information for me and for Mike is in my Linktree bio. If you tap Mike's name, which is somewhere maybe around that area, I don't know. It's somewhere. It's somewhere where it says Mike Disney Travel. He has his form there as well, and it's also in my Linktree. So, yeah, give us a shout.
Absolutely. We do this every week, except we are taking Thanksgiving week off, and I'm sure we'll probably take Christmas week off. But usually Thursday nights from 6:30 to 8:30 Central or 7:30, 9:30 Eastern. This week we moved it up a day to accommodate some schedules. So thanks for joining. We love having you. We love the chat. We love the questions. We love the topics that get sent in ahead of time. It's always fun. All right. Yeah. Thanks, Janelle. As always, thank you very much. I hope you have a great night. I hope you have a great day tomorrow at Hollywood.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm going to Epcot first and then Hollywood and then to the airport. So I'm excited. Ainsley should have checked in for a flight already, and we're excited. So
that's awesome. I'm excited for her and for you.
Yeah.
Good night, Unicourse. Good night, Grant.
Good night.
All right, gang. Take care. We'll chat again soon. Thanks, Janelle. See ya.
Bye.
Bye, guys.